Welcome back. Commercial breaks with Miss Education. I'm Miss Education. So today I wanted to tell you a story. My way versus God's way. Like I told you previously that I grew up in the church. I've always had a relationship with God, but now at age 43, I am beginning to truly understand God. I am beginning to fall in love with God. I am beginning to allow Him to be the center of my life, and I was able to experience what it looks like to do things my way, and God allowed me a second chance, and I did it His way. I did tell you that I was going to tell you some of my sins and how God has forgiven me. So this is just one of them, right? But it's also to illustrate that when we go and do things without consulting God, without hearing His word and being obedient, things go left quick. And there are consequences to that. But God is so merciful, right? Because He forgot to love the world that He died for me. So God has given me a second chance. And when I was given that second chance, I did it God's way. And I have been forever blessed. All right, so let me tell you, first of all, I want to put this out. I'm going to tell you about my ex-husband. He is a good man. We weren't made for each other, right? Someone who's allergic to peanuts, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is good. It tastes good, yum. But if you're allergic to peanuts, it could kill you, right? So my ex-husband, was a good man. He was just not made for me, okay? All right, so I met this man in law school. I walked into class, and there he was, legit tall, dark, and handsome, always in a suit with his briefcase. Yes, everybody was looking at him. He was a good-looking man, okay? And I looked at him, and I was like, oh, I'm finna get that one. That's gonna be mine. Long story short, we started dating. I mean, he was like, just like the movies. Like I think like our first date, he took me to San Francisco. He would take me shopping. I'd be wearing, like, I'm basic, I'm simple, right? And I don't mean basic in a bad way. I'm simple, right? So I don't spend much on my clothes. I might have a lot of clothes, but I don't spend much on them. You know what I mean? But he would go and he'd buy $200 pair of jeans. I was used to like $20 pair of jeans, right? So it was like $200. We go out to dinner for two, and the bill's like $300-$400. Like the whole time I was with him, not gonna lie, I only ate at Burger King once. The whole time I was with him, I never went into a Walmart that I can remember. Between the watch and the ring, again, I'm just me. It was like maybe 70, 80 grand on my finger. I'm used to wearing earrings from Claire's, okay? So this is how he was. He was generous. He was so kind. And so I saw him, and I was like, yup, that's mine. I'm going to have him. And sure enough, he became my husband, right? But during the dating, I was going against God's will and the manuscript he wrote, right? I was very sexually active with this man when we were dating. And as a result, right, I fell in love with the D, right? And it clouded my judgment. There were signs. I can remember signs, but I ignored them because I was having sexual relations with him, and that did not allow me to see what God was putting right in front of me, right? So we get married, and the day of the wedding, my sisters are like, just do this, and we'll end it. But how could I do that, right? We were at like 100 people, spent, I don't know, maybe the wedding for me, expensive, right, was like, I don't know, $80,000, right? It was just a lot. People flew in from everywhere. I had to go through with it. So I did. And I remember it was the first dance. We had practice, and we get on stage and on the floor, and we're doing our first dance. And I think I went 10 seconds in, and I was like, yo, I can't do this. So I didn't even finish the first dance with this man, right? These are signs. From the reception to our place, I'm just like, yo, can we stop at Burger King? He gets mad. I'm like, I didn't eat. We get in our first fight because I wanted Burger King because I did not eat. I was nervous. I was busy. I didn't eat during my wedding. So I wanted a Whopper. He got mad, right? That was our first fight. The relationship didn't work well. I felt, right, I came from a family where, I had both my mom and dad. They got along. They respected each other. Everyone played their role. They didn't cuss each other out. So when I get in this relationship and we're arguing a lot, I didn't see my parents argue. So he and I argue over everything. It was a lot for me. And it became to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. So one night I went out with some friends, and I met another man, and I had an affair with this man. And at that time, this man was like, everything I needed, or I thought he was kind. He listened. We didn't argue. It was just like, yay. So yeah, I ended up having this affair, and my husband found out, and he got physical with me. Yeah, he hogtied me. It was like, what's a hogtie? Yeah, he hogtied me. He kicked me in my ribs. There was a lot. And he was hurt because this woman he chose to spend the rest of his life with, this woman that he loved, was having an affair. He lost it, right? And, it got uglier. We eventually got a divorce. And then I said, God, I'm going to try it your way. Right? I'm going to try it your way. I want to do this right. A few years went by, and I met this guy. No, I'm lying. No, I'm not lying. I didn't. It was on High Five before Facebook. I saw his picture, and he was he wasn't wearing a shirt. He wasn't wearing a shirt, and he was all muscular. And his caption was like, "This is what a vegetarian looks like." I was like, "Ooh." I was like, I like this vegetarian. Shoot, I'll stop eating meat. So I sent him a message, and he never responded. So I was like, yo, he's just gay. He didn't respond to me. Months later, it turns out he was going through his trash, or inbox, his trash mail or whatever. And he came across mine because he had deleted my message. I told him he was cute. And he decided to respond. I think I must have put my phone number in the message, because the first time I ever spoke to that man was on my birthday. Actually, he called me on my birthday. He lived in Texas at the time, and I was in Massachusetts. And he was having a conversation with me, and he goes, I want to say something before we get started. He goes, if I'm in a relationship with a woman, I'm choosing not to have sex with her before marriage. I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm married. I'm getting married. Because I had told God, I said, I'm going to try it your way. And my biggest issue in relationships was I was having sex with all these people. So I was blinded. I couldn't see. So I said, God, I want to meet a man who does not want to have sex with me. And again, in another episode or whatever you call these, I'll explain why this high sex drive. But I I said, that's it. I want a man who does not want to have sex with me. I want a man who wants to get to know me for who I am and fall in love with my heart. And when this man said on the first, our first conversation, that he wants to be in a relationship with a woman but does not want to have sex with her prior to marriage, that was it. That was it for me. And so we spoke that night, and we spoke every night after that. He lived in Texas, and I was in Massachusetts. We did 1 year of long distance dating, which I think is amazing. I think not everyone, but it just forced us to talk. That's all we could do was talk for hours, right? There was all that technology that we have now, but we would just talk. So the first time we met, it was just like, yo, I was in love already. I knew him. Then I ended up moving to Texas. And so we dated 1 year long distance, 1 year in person, and never having sex. And then we got married. That was 18 years ago that I found this man. And it's a testimony for me that there's a blessing when we do things God's way. There's more to this story, and how us not having sex before marriage played a pivotal role in saving this marriage, because God's way is just the right way, because God can see from the beginning to the end. So God knew what was going to happen. You know what I mean? And God knew that, and God knows, right? When we do things His way, there's a blessing, there's a protection. So by me waiting to have sex with this man before marrying him, by doing it God's way, ultimately saved my marriage down the line. Anyway, I'll tell you more about that. It's a really interesting story, and the truth is I have to get permission from my husband before I tell you the entire story. But anyway, this was Commercial Breaks with Miseducation. There's my way, there's your way, and there's God's way. I encourage you to seek out God's way, because it is a guarantee. It is an absolute assurance. All right. So commercial breaks with Miseducation. Till next time. Thank you. Bye.